You stand at the kitchen sink on a Tuesday. The fluorescent tube under the cabinet hums like a tired bee. Steam lifts from a dented pot, fogging your glasses. You pour spaghetti into a plastic colander with a hairline crack in the handle. The crack widens for a second, then holds. Your phone face up on the counter turns the laminate blue. A number flickers, then settles. 7 digits. You touch the screen with a sauce-wet knuckle, then wipe it on a paper towel. The jar of store-brand marinara is open, cold at the rim. Garlic bread ticks in the toaster oven. A bowl of iceberg waits, pale and squeaky in your hands. Tuesday dinner, same as last week. You do not say anything. There is no one to tell. The house smells like tomatoes and the damp sponge by the sink. You let the number sit there, quiet, stubborn. And you know, not loudly, that something in you just crossed over. As a kid in Akron, the kitchen was the safe room. The cabinets were cheap oak. Your mother kept cash in a red Folgers can above the stove. She would stand on a chair, lift it down, and count 20s with her thumb. Quiet, like she was petting a cat. On a Tuesday when the furnace quit, your father sat at the table with his palms flat. He stared at the yellow paper from the utility company. He did not curse. He did not call anyone. He just breathed hard through his nose and said, "We will figure it out." The air smelled like fried bologna and metal. Later that winter, you woke at 4:52 a.m. to the sound of a diesel. Blue lights moved across your ceiling. A repo truck, slow as a parade. Your mother closed the bedroom door and told you to go back to sleep. The Folgers can was light that week. She added 3 singles and a handful of coins, like a prayer. You learned to like spaghetti because it was cheap and could stretch. You learned to fold bills the long way so they looked thicker. You learned to keep your voice low when money came up, and you learned the rule that mattered most. Need lives in the open. Security lives in a hidden place. You decided, without saying it, to build that hidden place inches at a time. Years later, you take a job that pays $43,800. Your Honda Civic has 168,000 miles and the check engine light that comes and goes like weather. You bring your lunch in a grocery bag and say no to happy hours. On a Saturday morning, you buy a used soda machine off Facebook Marketplace for $640 cash. You wheel it into a tire shop on State Route 18, where the owner wants 20% of sales. You stock 16 columns, all warm to your hands, and write the prices on masking tape. The first month, after the product cost and after the location's cut, you clear $190. You count quarters into a Ziploc on your coffee table and write the total on an index card. It feels like holding a corner of the tent and lifting it, just enough to see inside. You raise your 401k to 6% to get the full 3% match. You cancel the streaming you barely watch and move to term life at $19.58 a month, saving $48.75. Nothing glamorous. Mostly Tuesdays that look like any other. But there is proof now, real, heavy, in a bag with a zipper and the smell of nickel. You add a snack machine for $430 and place it in a laminate-smelling laundromat where the owner tapes rules to the wall in crooked lines. You learn which rows move, peanut butter cups, blue sports drinks. The second month nets $212. A third unit, $5.50, goes into a brake shop. Coils jam. You buy a spare for $30 and swap it in the parking lot with a headlamp on. On a Tuesday after work, Brent swings by the office in a leased BMW 530i, white, the factory plastic still on some of the chrome. He leans on the hood and says, "I just felt like I earned it." He posts a boomerang of the center stack, gloss and blue light. People tap hearts. You drive the Civic with the stained cloth seats to the gas station on State Route 18 to restock. The owner agrees to drop his cut from 20 to 15% after you pulled his machine and cleaned the syrup from the floor. Your Google sheet grows tabs, Route A, coil inventory, mileage. On Tuesday, you type in totals from a shoebox, and the number is boring and good. It makes no sound, but it is growing. You stop thinking of machines and start thinking of a map. You buy a duplex in Barberton for $97,000. You put 25% down, $24,250 plus $3,280 in closing costs. Unit A rents for $760. Unit B rents for $785. Pity comes to $521 a month. After an $80 average for repairs and a $40 sewer bill, you keep about $902 total each month when both units pay and nothing breaks. A sunburned triangle of land catches your eye off State Route 21 by a billboard. You buy the 0.18 acre for $14,500 in cash. You sign a lease with an outdoor company for $450 a month. County tax runs $33 monthly on average. Net 417s like rent from the air. You add 8 coin-op washers in a 12-unit building you do not own at $175 a wash. Your cut is 60%. Average week, $210 lands in your bucket in quarters. Tuesdays you roll sleeves, roll coins. On a Saturday morning, your spreadsheet reads $612,440. 2 tax returns later, it reads $738,091. There is no big day, just more lines, more tabs, more Tuesdays where you count and wipe your hands on your jeans. People still see the Civic and the lunch bag. You let them. You nod when Brent talks about the adaptive cruise and the sound system like a church organ. He invites you to a bar on a Tuesday. You say you have laundry. It is true. It is always true. Your sister texts you a photo of 2 bald tires. She asks if you know a place that does payment plans. You send $200 with a cake emoji and write early birthday. She thanks you with 3 hearts. You delete the transfer from your recent list. At work, they pass a card for the boss who hit 20 years. You add $5 in cash and keep your head down. A coworker complains about the 23.99% APR on her card. You keep quiet. Your numbers sit behind your ribs like a safe you cannot wear on the outside. You date a woman named Emily for a while. She touches the hole at the toe of your sock and laughs. You watch her face when you pick the cheapest entree. You do not tell her that a small sunburned triangle of ground pays your gas bill. Tuesday dinners never change. Sauce, iceberg, garlic bread that clicks when it cools. You keep a storage unit that smells like cardboard and syrup, cases of cola, a box of spare coils, a roll of quarters that got paper cut and spilled. Rooms in your life no one can enter. Notes on your phone with totals that look like a boast. You close it fast when someone walks past you in the break room. On a Tuesday, the pot boils over and hisses on the burner. You turn it down, lift the colander with the cracked handle, and your phone lights the counter again. $1,000, $14.22, the kind of number that used to belong to bankers and men in golf shirts. You look at it. You look at it again. You feel something that isn't pride and isn't relief. It's something quieter than both. You think of your father at the table with the yellow paper, his palms flat. You think of your mother on the chair, the red can, 3 singles, the handful of coins. You could show them this screen. You could say the ache is over, but it is not. The ache is simply organized. It has rooms and tabs and parcels. It still wakes and listens for diesels in the dark. The fluorescent tube hums. You plate the spaghetti. The number sits, heavy as a Folgers can, filled to the brim. After you eat, you rinse the colander and set it upside down to dry. Water beads in the crack like tiny mirrors. The kitchen smells like tomatoes and hot metal. Tuesday has come and gone without applause. You take your phone and turn the screen face down, as if the number could look back. The Folgers can in your head is full, but you still reach for it, like it might get lighter if you touch it. You wipe the counter with the damp sponge and ask yourself, how long do you plan to carry this alone?